I really want to understand how you get to this journey.
I've always been known as Mr. Google. My name is Keye. I want people to say my name and not say for Google. I've always wanted to be better than yesterday. Every job I had done, the common core behind it was understanding what people want. You have to give value to who you are. Your intelligence is your foundation, but your emotions is what gingers things up. What makes you unique is you. Even though when you don't know yourself, what makes you different is you. Finding yourself starts to become when you approve of what you like.
Does it also have something to do with your self-esteem?
Even the best of the best still have self-esteem issues. But it's a journey, it's a muscle you continue to push. Don't try to be perfect, but just try to be better than you were yesterday. That's all.
I am assuming you're an amazing person. You have accomplished many great things and done a lot for others in your life. However, I feel that if we have not striving daily to be a better person, we begin to feel comfortable in the daily norm. Do you want to become a better version of yourself? Don't fret. Today's guest is a satisfied and a self-taught coach, public speaker, lifestyle consultant, who is specialized in helping entrepreneurs and working professionals attain their professional and personal goals. With over 20 years of multi-sector experience across different clients and a track record of working for one of the biggest technology companies in the world, Google, as well as working in other organizations like Burberry, Network Rail, local council, private and organizations across the United Kingdom, to mention a few. He is also the founder of Be a Better Me, a training and consulting social enterprise aimed at equipping individuals for a better future. He is the founder of Keye London, a bespoke fashion line that caters for the modern man. The Keye London brand works alongside each client to create a finished piece that projects their personality and individuality. Please welcome Keye Oduneye.
Thank you so much for taking out time to be on this show. I know it is not convenient for you, but I really, really appreciate. You know that, right?
Madam, I'm going to get in trouble. I know you're going to tell me off for my madam phrases and you're going to hear it. But it's an honor being here. One, of course, because I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
I've watched a few of the shows. I love your message. And I think most important, I love the chemistry we had when we spoke on our literal first conversation. We recommended books to each other.
Right.
And that says a lot about people when you speak to them. It's not just gist or chat. It was actually something where I left the conversation and I had to go look for a book.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. The word, is one of those things that's one of the reasons why I created this show, just to share good and then invite nice people like you on my show to discuss your experience and all. So for the viewers, people around to know what is going on, the real truth. So today's topic is actually about how to be your better self. And the reason why I picked that up, because when I read your biography, it says a whole lot. And I really want to understand how you get to this journey.
Okay. The brief. It's hard to ask for a brief. You're asking for trouble. Okay. brief. Extra brief is I'm one of 5 kids, the only one in the family that was born in Lagos. Everybody else was born in London. So I used to think I was an adopted child. It looks like they didn't want to bring me to London. So I was born in Lagos. I went to school in Ikeja, then moved over to Abeokuta, where I went to Baptist Boys High School. Came to the UK to come and do university, as a lot of people tend to do in my time. And when I got here, I had a shock to the system. The shock to the system is one very key factor. In Nigeria, we put so much pressure on each other of wanting to be proper, to talk nice, to be English, to be polite. And when I got here, I noticed that we put too high expectations on the West, that we were literally head and shoulders above them. But the issue was we mentally could not connect with that. So when I got here, I did a degree in media production, did a bit of training, and then I said, I want to go back and give back. So I started to work within the welfare to work, helping. Then from there, moved on to different training apprenticeship with individuals. And from there, training gigs, just based on passion. And out of the blue, a phone call came through. The phone call was for me to come and train. There's a rail company here in the UK, the biggest one called Network Rail. They brought me in to come and train their team to go from paper to computer. Literally within 2 weeks of training them, they pushed me up to the lead trainer. That contract finished, went back to keep working. Out of another job came through with a company called Burberry. Burberry, which is a fashion line here in the UK. Right. And literally, Burberry brought me in. Nobody knows me. This is the reason I'm trying to emphasize this story is sometimes when you think you're not doing anything, people are seeing you. Burberry brought me in to come train a team they've just absorbed. So Burberry just bought a new company, and they brought me, Keye Oduneye, born in Ikeja, that nobody knows, to come and train this new team about doing things the Burberry customer service way. That contract finished literally as I dropped my pen for that contract. I got a call from a company representing Google, and the rest is literally history. I became the lead trainer for Google. I used to train across, I've done it in Nigeria, in Ghana, and the UK. And that led me into me actually saying, you know what? I've always been known as Mr. Google. My name is Keye. I want people to say my name and not say for Google. Keye for Keye. Keye for this. And it's something a lot of people miss out. So in summary, the journey of my life has very much been, I've always wanted to be better than yesterday. That's all I can do.
Wow. So I really, oh my God, thank you for sharing that. So there's you've done some things that actually put you in that space, right? You didn't just get into the UK and then enter Burberry that, oh, okay, you guys are going to give me this job. So what are the things you did before you now, the opportunity now clicking?
Okay, so first and foremost, I'm going to quickly say something and go straight to answer that question. Please, let me not try. I think that was the packaging introduction. I've done bakery job where I've worked at night. I've worked in waitress, in customer service. I've worked in retail. I've done cleaning jobs. So please, don't let that journey look like it was so perfect. I've done night security jobs, so we've done that. That I just needed to make that bit clear to a lot of people. But to your main point, the key thing behind my point was I had one very important goal, and this is where people miss it. I looked at myself and I noticed one thing. I'm not an expert at so many things, but I understood I'm good at one thing. And that one thing is I'm good at people. I'm good at connecting with people. So every job I had done, the common core behind it wasn't sales, wasn't training, was understanding what people want and packaging it through talking, through selling, through entertaining, through whatever it was, but getting that message to them. So for me, it was in the job, learning how the job worked, understanding people, getting some training qualifications here or there, understanding my message, but most importantly, understanding Keye. And that's where people miss it. A lot of people try to want to become Ade. So my full name is Ade Keye. So people are either Ade or Keye, and they're using packaging and they forget their identity. But one of the things I have to do is, who is Keye? Why should people waste their time and listen to me? And because I don't want people to waste their time, I give their time value. And that's the key thing that has packaged my journey. Learning on the job, I'm trying to build something that can give value.
You know, you really said something that really resonates with me. You talk about, I don't want to be known as Keye Google. I want to be known as Keye. So at what point do you tell yourself, because, you know, sometimes we need all this brand to actually help us to get exactly what we want. At what point do you disengage yourself that, oh my God, I want to be Keye. People should know me as Keye this, because I know that all your brands, your clothing line, your everything you do is Keye. I really love it. So at what point do you tell that, okay, I'm going to disengage myself from this big brand. I want to build my own brand?
Okay. First and foremost, there's no set time. That's the honest thing. Because if you think there's a script, that's a lie.
Right.
Everybody's time and everybody is different. That's the first thing. For me, the point came in two areas. One of them was I was tired of feeling uncomfortable. Uncomfortable in the sense where I needed to wait on someone to get my next push.
Hmm.
I needed someone to define me. And I noticed when I got in conversations, even though I was doing fashion, and I believe I'm pretty good at what I do, I had to keep saying, oh, and I work for Google. So I noticed in my own conversation, I felt fulfilled or I felt valued when I quickly said, oh, and I work for Google. So rather than people just saying, oh, so you don't have a job, you work for yourself, because entrepreneurship is still, as much as people talk about it, it's still not an idea that people still give value to. It's always still seen as side hustle. So when you're around people who have nice paying jobs, and then they say, so what do you do? I work for Goldman Sachs. What do you do? Oh, I work for JP Morgan. Oh, what do you do? I work for my fashion line called Keye London. Oh, this one doesn't have a job. And back then, I'll then quickly say, oh, yeah, and I work by the side for Google. And they go, oh, they readjust themselves. And I think what I started to understand, and this went into research, which is JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, all these big companies, they're people's names now.
Yeah.
It's somebody's family name. So why am I not letting them say, I work for Keye, but their name is not Keye? And that's where, for me, the penny started to drop. What if I fail? I fail. But Keye, my name, someone saw it once and saw value in it. And that's where we miss it. So for me, it was, what's the worst that can happen? I fail. Maybe worst case, I'll get a side hustle. I keep doing what I'm doing. But I know I can go to bed saying I've done what I love. Even when I was doing Google, I was doing care by the side. I was doing my training by the side. I'm not saying stop what you're doing. I'm saying start to give value to who you are.
So who would
And
you
it's not
like?
just saying I am that I am, not affirmation. It's taking the step of risk, step of faith.
So as at what point do you start
Okay.
doing this one and then ooh,
Like your first boom. How did you feel?
tell me about it.
Okay. My clothing line, I would say the reason why my clothing line has got better, I have no shame, I'll be honest, is because of my wife, not because of me. And I'll explain. I am what they call a kid in the candy store, which is I get excited by ideas. Or as I say, I get gingered. Oh, I did this. Oh, it looks good. Oh, I designed this. Someone is wearing my clothes. I don't even need to get money because you're wearing my clothes. I've made my own day. I feel fulfilled because my clothes look good on someone. Then my wife looks me in the eye and say, honey,
Yes.
you know I did not come from a Gary drinking house. Yeah, and I love you very much. Give your clothes value. It's not just about people liking it, but if they like it enough, let them pay for it. So it just changed the way I looked at fashion, look at creativity, because I only looked at things as a creative. And the problem with a lot of creatives, and people don't know this, is a lot of creatives are more fulfilled when people enjoy what they're doing. So that's why
Hmm.
sometimes a lot of creatives need managers. That's why artists, and a good singer can sing from here to tomorrow. As long as they can eat, they can sing for free. But when they now have managers, it's the managers that give them direction, and that's the role my wife played with me. So for me, it was just the idea of making something, someone looking good in it and saying, oh, it was made by this guy. That was value for me.
Hmm.
It was only until that kicked in and then gave me structure, more than just a suit. I said to see a business. I said to see growth. I said to see value. And that's where clarity and identity started to take shape.
Wow. So it's true. You need somebody because when you're doing something, you have passion, you're very creative, you don't think about the money aspect that you can actually make a whole money from it. And then you just be going boom. You need that person that will tell you, boom, yeah, you just have to be making money from it. That is really amazing. So let's now go back to emotional intelligence. You know, the first time we had a conversation, we talked a whole lot about it. I just want to tap your knowledge because you are the guru in this field. why do you think it
Hey,
is
Guru, I don't
important?
know. Sorry.
Why do you think it is important in finding who you are? What is the correlation between the two? Emotional intelligence and being the best version of yourself.
Okay. Now, there's this big thing we all take for granted, which is part of the best things in our life are built on our emotions. For people who are single and relationships, they love their partners. And when they see their partners, they brighten up. It makes their day. For people who are married, you see your kids, you see your partners. For creatives, you see your artwork. It's your emotions. Your intelligence is your foundation, but your emotions is what gingers things up. And one of the things with emotional intelligence is for too long in our lives, we've just put emotions at home. We've only connected emotions through telling someone I love you, and that's an emotion. Or when you kiss someone, that's an emotion. But that's a lie. Because an emotion is your anger. An emotion is your frustration. So the whole idea of emotional intelligence is to say what you've been doing for fun or you've been doing at home, let's bring it to work. Let's let them marry each other. Let's bring it to your passion. Let's bring it to speaking, to connecting with people. And what we started to notice is that through emotional intelligence, performance, creativity goes up to a new high because you actually start to see that words that are not words of hate, but words have a power to make a difference that even book cannot give you. Book will guide you. Let's not please book. Reading is key. It's important. But a lot of our decisions, a lot of things we do are very much built on our emotions. Decisions we make. You might have all the stats, but your intuition, your final decision is actually based on your emotion. So the reason for bringing emotional intelligence to the front line is most important, first and foremost, for us as human beings. We're emotional creatures. And the goal is to stop people. I'm trying to get people to bring emotions a lot more into the work front, a lot more into the business decisions. If you think, I don't know if you've heard this, where they say business deals are not done in the boardroom anymore.
Right.
Business deals are done on the golf court. They're done, like in Nigeria, in the bars. As they say, when they're doing Ifaji, is when the business deal is going on. Because when you're doing Ifaji, you can see if you can trust this person. In China, one of the big things is a lot of business deals are done when they eat. So I can look in your eyes and trust you. In Yoruba, we say ojula rowa. It's let me look in your eyes, not listen to your words. Because if not, if I'm getting the proverb wrong, let me know. But ojula rowa is that I can listen to you on the phone and we can do the deal. But if I look in your eyes, I can see if I can trust you. That's not brain, that's emotion. So it's always existed, but we've never really understood how to use it and how to make us perform or do a lot more better.
How about for some people that have challenges of the culture? The culture actually have a lot to play in our emotions and the way we react
Of
to
course.
people. So how do you think that they can actually balance it? I'm a Nigerian. I grew up here, all my life here. The culture, you guys' culture, West culture is totally different from ours, right? You understand that. So emotional intelligence have a lot to do with which you've already explained. How about those people that have okay culture barrier? How do we overcome it? How
Okay,
do we
so
marry the two together?
so first and foremost, I'm gonna formally on your show ask you to apologize to me. I am not Western. I am Nigerian. Yeah, no, no. I think because more than ever, I think the older I've got, the more I feel more privileged being a Nigerian than any other thing. Yes, they might say all the negative press about this, but when you actually understand what it means to be a Nigerian, the way you look at life is different. Let me quickly give you an emotional example. If you meet an American, and even if the person's voice is low pitched, ask them where they're from. They would say, "I'm an American."
Right.
And there's that. Some people call it arrogance, but there's that confidence that you guys are from the rest of the world. I'm American. And it's just that belief, the land of the brave. And that's what we're missing in Nigeria when it comes to emotional intelligence. I'm a Nigerian. We're blessed of culture, history, beauty. And we just don't sell that anymore. It's about the hustle. But back to your question, back to your point. The first thing about culture differences, part of emotional intelligence, there's something called culture intelligence.
Right.
And I'll explain what I mean by that. Cultural intelligence is not just about where we live, because I'll give you an example. There's also cultural intelligence, which also leads to generational intelligence. Quick one. In my era, I learned how to use mobile phones. The generation behind me, which I'm very sure is your generation, all you young people, the generation behind me, all of you were born with mobile phones. So the way I would want to call and say, Mommy, how are you? How's it going? When I'm talking to my mom, I even almost prostrate, like she's over here. And I can do that. Because that's how my generation understood culture and interaction. Well, when you look at the younger generation, yeah, mom, how are you? You okay? Okay. Still same conversation, but it's connecting with that. So what emotional intelligence does with you is first and foremost, through your research and understanding who your audience are, is the first thing. Because there's also, when we say cultural differences, there's also gender differences. So the first thing with emotional intelligence is we try emotionally sample our audience through research as well as through connecting with them. So that covers culture, that covers language, that covers wording. That also covers tone. There's some cultures you speak to that the sound of your voice determines how they buy from you.
Right.
There's some audience where the tone of your voice has its own interaction. But because we're dealing with emotions, one of the smartest things to do is find the perfect balance because you might not always be able to please everybody.
Yeah.
And when you understand that, the key thing is who are my audience, what's my message, and how do I get it to them? But this is after you've done the research. Are they in the UK? Are they here? If they're in the UK or they're here, are they all Nigerians? What generation are they from? Because the Nigerian here, born literally from 1990 backwards, you say the same, you tell them, behave yourself. They will behave themselves because we know what it means. What from 1990 and above, you say behave yourself, they say, Uncle, are you okay? So as much location doesn't really make that much of a difference. But research plays that key role in how you use emotional intelligence because it's also a muscle you have to actively push.
Fantastic. So finding yourself, understanding
Yeah.
who you are, please, how? I really want to. I found myself, I thank God, it took me a whole lot. It took me years living the life I shouldn't have been living. You don't know it. Well, environment have a
Tell
lot
me
to do
more. What life
sometimes.
have you been living?
So sometimes you don't really know that you're not actually living the fullness of the life you're supposed to be living. You're wearing another person's life unknowingly. For a lot of people, they want to find themselves, they want to be the best version of themselves, appreciate who they are. Can you please explain into details?
First and foremost, I don't like you right now because now you're sending me back to school. I feel like a teacher likes that. Don't talk too much. Okay. So the first thing we have to do, because I was about to bring up my board and actually do a whole training session for you. The first thing people have to understand is this. What makes you unique is you. Even though when you don't know yourself, what makes you different is you. A girl could stand right next to you, even your twin, identical twin could stand next to you. But it's what you say different, what you do different that people buy from. But how do you find you? Now, the first and foremost thing I tell everybody is simply this. Ask yourself the question, why do people want to listen to you? Or the most important one I tell a lot of people. When I tell women, they look confused when I ask them. I ask them this question, do you think you're attractive? And they literally go, yes. I go, why? Why do you think you're attractive? Well, because someone told me, and that starts to give you clarity. Finding yourself starts to become when you are proof of what you like.
And you have
Even
proof
though
what you like.
it's very, very important. Because if you're always, okay, I won't give you details of it. There's a client of mine I was working with. We're talking on their communication and presenting the message. High profile job. And then the client out of the blue came to me and said, okay, yes, I'm great at this company. I've just been promoted to a VP, but I'm thinking because of the industry I'm in, I'm thinking of getting a boob job done. Yeah. So I'm like going, okay, what do you want me to do? Why are you telling me? And then I asked her this simple question. Why do you want to get the boob job done? Well, so, the guys would notice me more. So I said, okay, that sounds like a plan. But let me ask you this question. You get the boob job done, and 10 people say, oh my God, you look lovely, you look lovely. And one person tells you, oh, why? It actually looks fake. How would you feel? Well, I'll deal with that when I get to that. No, you're gonna get this for people's approval. At the moment you are not in season, the moment people are not liking you based on how you want them to like you, you're back to zero. Would you then get another boob job? What am I saying? What I'm saying is, with her as well as with people, is you need to determine who you are. What do you like? How do I sound? How do I present myself? Actually, practice in the mirror more often. What do I like about myself? The reason why all these key points are what we put together as what we call your unique selling point. We use it for products, but we need to use it for ourselves. What makes me different from that same girl? We have the same hair, we have the same glasses, we have the same this. Why should people listen to me over her? And you need to start to pick those things that make you stand out. My voice is high pitched. That's one. When I laugh, I giggle a bit funny. That's two. As much as it sounds like nothing, the more you find those little things is how you can then fully start to build a brand out of it.
Does it also have something to do with your self-esteem?
Self-esteem, like life, like hustle, is a journey. No matter, I could be wrong, and I won't. Let me not disrespect professionals who said other things. Self-esteem is not changed in one day. Even the best of the best still have self-esteem issues. But it's a journey. It's a muscle you continue to push. You continue to find yourself. Because the moment you think you've gone, it's like a computer game. The moment you think you've got the best self-esteem and you're at one level, you just see someone on your level that's doing something better and different than you. And then you're back to, how do I then get there? So self-esteem is a muscle we continue to try to improve on. We try to get better at. It's not just a one fix. So that's why the journey of finding yourself is, okay, let me do this for free. If you're not sure about who you are, 3 things you need to do. First thing, look for someone that inspires you. For me, every now and then, I look for Mr. Barack Obama. Why? He's a father. He's a cool husband. When the guy shows up with his babe, I look at my wife, yeah, and I thought I was cool. This guy just made me feel like I need to go and improve. So he inspires me as a father. I have 2 daughters. He has 2 daughters. He inspires me as a father. Second thing, he's a husband that puts his wife first. It's a habit I started to do that. When I'm talking somewhere and I know there's too many women smiling with me, oh, have you met my wife? Quickly, before I get in trouble. Prevention is better than cure. And the third thing, which is most important, is he's a communicator. And I like the way he speaks. Now I can't sound like Barack Obama because that's me being a fake. But I can sound like Keye. Look for what I like in him and how can I aspire to be that type of man, not be Obama, but that type of man. That's one. Second thing, who is on my level that's doing what I'm doing? What is it they're doing? Well, now that I'm not Obama yet, who's on my level doing what I'm doing? Look for them. So you then have someone who's just 1 or 2 steps up. What am I saying? The more you have something you can emotionally, I won't say compete with, but you use as a guide, it gives you a sense of how closer to the bigger picture you are. So my bigger picture is I would love to at least, and I'm saying that not to sound rude, I'd love to at least be a good speaker the way Barack Obama is a speaker. Because for me, he's what I call gold standard. So I'll use someone who inspires me. And the thing about inspiring, please, this is also very important. Too many of us as people, we listen to too many mentors. So we have we want to be like Mr. Facebook. We want to be like Mr. Late Steve Jobs. We want to be like Bill Gates. We want to be like, and that's why people are all over the place. We're taking too much information. Look for someone who is literally almost like the perfection of perfection that you aspire for, and try understand their blueprint. And it's not just about doing what they do. Since they're great at what they're doing, it's made them be a better husband or come across, because I don't know what happens in the backyard, come across as a better husband, come across as a cool father. So you're not just taking, I want to sound like him. The lifestyle inspires you and you see that it's possible. That's the thing about having a mentor. It's not that you want to copy them. All you're looking at is it is possible. So
I think you were able to, thank you for that part that you actually mentioned, because a lot of people, they'll say, oh, my mentor, they'll just be living the same lifestyle that mentor is living. And then you say something, okay, you like something about this person, you pick it, and then you actually kind of make it your own way. Do you understand? To be who you are, like this is me, this is my own version, but I like this one, I'm going to pick this part. Not like everything. Some people, the way the person walk, the way the person talk, the way the person dress. I mean, you're not even
the way the person cuts their hair,
exactly.
and you do the person's Jerry curls.
Thank you so much for explaining that. I actually, you nailed it. Even this field that I am in right now. So, a lot of people, oh, do it this way, do it this way, do it this way. I pick what I want. I have to do my own style that fits into my own personality. I have my own personality that fits it in. So I just want you to give me your final word. People want to be a better person. They want to be themselves. What are the key points? Just follow this way. Walk like this. Do this, do this, do this. What should we be doing to be? I know you mentioned it earlier, but I just want you to help me recap it.
Altogether. Okay, so first and foremost is one size doesn't fit all. Everybody's different. So people need to remember that. If something someone has told you doesn't work for you, it doesn't mean the person's a failure. It just means maybe you need to realign yourself with what can work for you. So first and foremost, what you need in your life is you need to get somebody. It doesn't have to be a mentor, but somebody that you can actually say, what you look at me, what do you see? Just in case you cannot see yourself. So look for someone that can be your mirror. Why is that? Because it gives you a guide of maybe what you have in your head. Does it add up with what someone is saying? Or it needs to be someone who is not trying to package you, someone that's honest with you, first thing. Second thing, what would you like to achieve? People say they have their calling. That's one thing. But if you don't know what your calling is, or you don't know what the better version of yourself is, start with what would you like to achieve? So that becomes your goal. Along the way, you find yourself. But look for something you love to achieve. Another thing you need to consider is with you trying to achieve that, how can it help others?
How can it what? I didn't get that.
How can it help? How can it help others? Which means with what you're doing, as much as it's your passion, can it also be better for someone else? Because one thing we don't do in our lives anymore, which used to be our tradition in Nigeria, is your name, your legacy. When they say your name, does it inspire people to want to meet you? Or is it just, what's in today? That. So as a whole, let me put it this way. First and foremost, give yourself meaning. Give yourself, I want to do something that can make the world a better place. I want to be the change that the world sees. Because I existed, I want people to say, thank God for my life. Second thing, if you don't know who you are, just look for something you're passionate about, but that is you. Not because person A or person B is doing it. Look for something that is you. It doesn't have to be famous. It could actually even be famous, but it has to be personal to you. Third thing, always keep a journal or always keep a tab. What have I done in last week that has made me different from yesterday?
Wow.
Because my password to anything in the world is don't try to be perfect. It could drive you crazy because it's a journey. but just try to be better than you were yesterday. That's all. As long as you're better than yesterday, tomorrow would blow your mind. That's all you can really do.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for this. I know that you render such service like coach people on. Tell me about your service. We're close, but
Oh,
just
my
tell me
service.
about.
Okay, so this is I'm going to sound like a salesman now. Which
Yeah,
one
do
do you
so.
want? Okay, so the first things first is so what I do a lot more, you're gonna see them, I'm gonna do something called Showmanship Digital, which is gonna be some online courses aimed at facilitating and communication. At the same time, I do a lot of one-to-one coaching sessions. So that's from speakers, CEOs, executives on how they can become better communicators. But it's not just speaking to the mic, it's speaking to an audience. It's selling to your staff. Some people, which I don't say a lot, we go back to dating and chat up lines. There's a lot of coaching in that as well. How to get the right person you want in your life. That's the side one. And then on the other hand, with the fashion line, here in the UK, we do a lot more bespoke suits, like what I'm wearing. We do shoes, we do cufflinks. All of it is on keyelondon.com, which is KEYE
Strictly for
London,
men.
LO.
Strictly
Strictly
for
for
men.
men at the moment.
Okay.
Our mills, which is our suede slippers, are unisex. I've had a lot of women order those. We have amazing beads like this. We have cufflinks that open up to women. So it's at the moment it's strictly for men, but they're opening a few new doors in that sense. Um, but for the training arm, people can just Google showmanship, and you'll find some stuff online. But the company name, which is GSI, which is called Gold Standard International.com, should be up and running by the 1st of September, where people can get courses and you can book sessions that way. But the idea is to work with people and try and give back.
Wow, that's so amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for watching Base Power with Melabate. I'm sure you grab a lot from my conversation with Keye. To find yourself, you just have to be truthful to yourself. Your emotional intelligence have a whole lot to do with it. Your self-esteem is something you keep on building. We'll see you next time on Base Power with Melabate, and have a good one.